Thank you. Please rise for the pledge of the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry?
We have David Weisnick, our friend from the Gap, to give us an update. David?
Good morning, sirs and ma'am. David Weisnick from Inningham Gap, give you the Back to the Gap update. As of the 30th of this month, we've had over 88,000 troops trained at the Gap. So we're on our way to being the most utilized National Guard installation in the United States for the 3rd year in a row. So we're very happy of that. For the next couple of weeks, our troop load's going to be over 5,900 troops. We're starting to gear up for the summer season. The only real upcoming or what I call noisy training that we have on the books right now is field artillery training. That's going to be from a Marine Corps Reserve unit. We do train all branches at the Gap. They're going to be here from 9 through 11 June. That'll be artillery, so I'm sure our neighbors will hear it. I'd like to remind everybody, we have the 2nd busiest heliport in the United States Army with Muir Army Airfield. There are multiple courses going on that'll mean multiple flights that will be occurring. So we ask everybody's patronage and tolerance on that. Want to thank you all, the commissioners, for coming out to our military affairs breakfast. Just came back from the military affairs meeting over at the chamber, and they were telling me it's one of the most successful ones that we already have ever had. So that was
Obviously a tribute to the MC.
Very small part, sir. We had that, but it was a great showcase for the Gap. We love getting the community out there. We are very proud of what we do, the hard work from a lot of people, soldiers, airmen, and civilians that we do out there, and certainly the community, I think, needs to be proud of what the Gap has become and what it will be in the future. So, pending any of your questions, that's all I have today.
Anyone have any questions? I was going to compliment you about the MC work you did that morning. It's very
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's nice to have you and see you in other roles and so on, and it sort of brings us all together for us. So if you're finished,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm assuming the next is Mike. If you guys want to come up and end, I'm not sure if we can roll another. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for hearing us this morning. I'm coming wearing 3 hats today.
Would you just introduce yourself?
I'm Michael Schroeder, and I live in Anvil. And I come wearing 3 hats today. I will try to be crisp and brief out of respect for your time. The first hat I come wearing is as Vice President of Lebanon Pipeline Awareness, and we are here to inform the commissioners and the public that we are launching a pipeline monitoring watchdog program, where, as you know, we are on the cusp of major construction here in Lebanon County for both the north-south Atlantic Sunrise and the east-west Mariner East project. And as you also know, these are crossing scores of wetlands and waterways, and there's a lot of environmental concerns as well as public health and safety concerns. And so we have undergone training with Delaware Riverkeeper Network as a way to monitor as citizens to respect the law and act within our constitutional rights, but to monitor and just keep an eye on the construction process. We have a Google Drive set up so that volunteer citizen watchdogs can submit standardized forms with their scientific observations of what they see, and with photographs and so on. So this is just to make you aware that we are launching this volunteer pipeline monitoring program. as a way to try to enhance and ensure the health, the safety, and environmental integrity of Lebanon Valley. Are there any questions about that?
Is there a URL for the Google Drive? How do you find it?
Well, what we have on our press release is, right now, we're asking folks, I'm coordinating the effort, and so people will be sending me photographs and documents, and I will be uploading them
Oh, so they
onto
don't
the,
directly.
so they go directly to me. We're not expecting a flood. It may turn into that, we don't know, in which case we'll kind of rethink it. But that's what we have at this point. So there are two forms, one requesting landowner permission to be on their property, and the second on the actual observations that volunteer monitors make while they're in the field. And we have an accompanying press release with that.
Next. Oh, I'm sorry, Gordy.
Okay, Chair. You said that you went through some training for this. You're looking for volunteers. What type of standards of training must be?
We will, any volunteers who agree to become pipeline monitors will undergo the same training that we underwent. Being cautious to never trespass in a rights of way, to not trespass on private property, to always respect, the limitations that are imposed by the company and by property owner. So, and how specifically to undertake this monitoring. So, volunteers will be trained.
Will you be doing the training, or will you be bringing?
Yeah, we will be
someone
doing.
So you, the Lebanon Pipeline
Correct.
Workers will actually.
Correct. And this is also a joint effort with Concerned Citizens of Lebanon County.
Right, we basically had a meeting where it was train the trainers, where we found out the information. So we have things on video and PowerPoints and things like that. So we've got the information. And I'll also add that we have reached out to the Lebanon County Conservation District to work with them on this as well. Because obviously they are the contact people for any of the problems that might arise as well as the one other thing, this isn't really maybe a pipeline, but I just have a question, because I've noticed that there don't seem to be videos when the meeting's posted anymore. The last one I could find is from August 2016. I've been looking for a while, and I thought maybe there was just a backlog and they'd get posted, but I was just wondering what happened.
There is a backlog. The person that was posting it in IT left us, and so the director's trying to catch up.
Okay, but they are still being recorded.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
them. It's just that we are so thin in that department that one leaves and that's a big hole.
Okay, all right. So just, I was curious.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay, very good. So second hat, shirt actually now, the president of the Honeywell Watershed Association. I just want to inform the commissioners again that we are in the process of a multi-year, developing a multi-year plan going up to 2029 for working on the waterways in Lebanon County. The showcase project, as you probably know, is the reconstruction work in Quiddy Creek Nature Park in Anvil, where nearly a mile of stream bank was reconstructed, using nearly $1 million from PPP and some from Fish and Boat Commission. And right now we're in the process of developing, as I say, a 12-year plan. And essentially, I can provide more details, and I don't have anything written out. But essentially, we'll be working from upstream to downstream. And from upstream, the first tributaries like Snitz Creek, downstream to back to Killinger, all the way down to the Swatara. We're looking at multiple funding sources, PADEP for the big projects along the main stem of Quiddy Creek, Natural Resources Conservation Service for more agricultural areas, EPA 319 money, assuming that's still there when we apply for it, and the Fish and Boat Commission, as well as the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and others. We are working collaboratively with Doc Fritchie, Trout Unlimited. We have met with municipal officials as part of the Lebanon County Clean Water Alliance. So this is really coming together. It's pretty exciting to see this long-range plan emerging for, as you know, the waterways in Lebanon County. 98%, more than 98% of the Honeywell watershed is impaired, meaning it's not suitable for aquatic life. And it's our goal to enhance and improve the water quality in the watershed. So we'll be starting at the top and working our way down. And this is, again, just to make you aware that this is really gearing up. We have a lot of partnerships and alliances, and I feel like we're on the cusp of making some really pretty substantial changes here in Lebanon County with water quality, with the total watershed. So, any questions about that? Okay, and then the third hat I'm wearing is to inform the commissioners that the Clifton Hill Creek Garbage Museum is the recipient of this year's Governor's Award for Environmental Excellence, which is quite an honor for the Garbage Museum, and it's, I think, according to my research, only the third time in history that an environmental organization in Lebanon County has received this prestigious award.
That's a good write-up.
So Tara Watershed was one that received it. I don't know if that was on your list.
I think it is. So congratulations to the Sutara Watershed Association as well. And to cordially invite you, the commissioners, and the public at large to the 6th annual grand opening of the Garbage Museum this week from Saturday, it'll be June 10th, from 4 to 7 p.m. There's a little piece in the paper yesterday, but I just wanted to extend that invitation to you in this public forum. Because I'm hoping that Mike Fulmer will be there, and Russ Diamond, and both put together a very nice little recognitions. So in any case, it's just to let you know that the Garbage Museum has received this award.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Questions about that?
What time is that on the
4 to 7 p.m. And maybe later. Maybe it'll turn into a bonfire. You never know.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we get to Dawn, we'll ask for the minutes of our last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. You are up, Dawn.
Okay, we started with a cash balance of $867,440.79. The receipts from 5/30 and 5/31 were $2,778,095.22, with a cash total of $3,645,536.01, minus the expenditures of $2,359,139.01, minus tax claim of $61,415.97, giving us an ending cash balance of $1,224,981.03.
Seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept Dawn's report. Any questions regarding that motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you. Anything else?
Yep, she's
Yep.
in agreement.
I have an intermunicipal agreement with the Lebanon School District, where we were asked to collect the West Lebanon Township only school taxes, where Julie Klaus used to be the tax collector and she can no longer hold that position. So they're asking for us to collect them for this coming year, starting in July. And so I have this, I thought Kurt Richards was gonna show up this morning, but I didn't hear from him, so we have this agreement that would need to be signed.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the agreement as presented by the Treasurer's Department to collect the taxes of West Lebanon.
West Lebanon Township School.
The Lebanon School District.
For
In West Lebanon.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you would like to second that, I live in West London, so I think I should abstain on this for a conflict of interest.
I'll second. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Please note that I abstain.
And I'll leave it to you. Sally may come in this afternoon to sign it, Jamie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Right.
Thank you very much, Dawn.
Yes.
Is the property taxes?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
school real estate for West Lebanon Township.
Thank you.
Yep.
We have a special honoree here this morning from our PA Extension office. Would you like to introduce yourself and give a little background? This is kind of a new era for us, but it's a great
Sure. Is it all right if I just
relationship
speak
that we
from
have.
here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Shirk. I'm with Penn State Extension. As part of Penn State Extension's new transition from a district model to areas, we're moving away from a district director and forming two positions. One is a business operations manager that will take responsibility for a lot of the financial planning, HR, different tasks in the office and in the area. And then there's also a client relations manager, which I'm going to fill for Area 9, Lancaster, Lebanon, Chester, Berks, and Schuylkill counties. And we'll be working with different groups and the commissioners, different stakeholders to be more of that out-facing person, so we can take in your feedback of what you would like to see from Penn State Extension and also work with you to better those programs and bring greater reach and impact for those programs. We feel, Penn State feels that if they strategize with, everyone's got budget cuts and restraints, and so they feel that this skill set of splitting this position into two people will better leverage their resources.
And expanding the territory.
Yes, it is. Rather than it just being Lancaster, Lebanon, and Chester counties as the district was before, this district will also include Berks and Schuylkill counties. Which, as I shared with the commissioners, I feel that these 5 counties are the agriculture powerhouse of the state of Pennsylvania. I was really happy to see that they chose to keep all 5 of those together. And although extension agriculture isn't the only focus of extension, it is a big economic impact on the state of Pennsylvania. So I look forward to working with you, and please feel free to contact me with any issues.
Thank you. Well,
Do you have a card?
They're not printed yet. I just approved the proof yesterday, so as soon as I get them, I'll pass them along. But I can email all of you so you have my contact information in the meantime.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh,
I'm up first, I'm gonna do first.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
That's okay.
The whole thing changed there, okay.
All right, so in personnel transactions, we have resignations and terminations. Denise Hager, Secretary D in the District Attorney's Office, is retiring effective August 26th, with the last working day of August 25th. Cheryl C. Swigert, Customer Service Clerk in Domestic Relations, is retiring effective July 1st, with last working day on June 30th. Brian Burke, Deputy Director of EMA, is retiring on August 12th, with the last working day August 11th. Aaron King, telecommunicator in EMA, is resigning his position effective May 25th, 2017. Brenda Hartman, a casual call developmental assistant at Renova Center, is resigning for personal reasons effective May 18th. Ashley Cherapin, part-time LPN at the prison, is resigning effective May 25th. Dave Cayley, sergeant at the prison, is retiring effective June 4th, with the last working day of June 3rd. And Leparty Jean Francois, casual part-time correctional officer at the prison, is being removed effective June 1, 2017.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second to accept those resignations and other transactions. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
I have one leave of absence for Amber Swartz at the prison for 1 week of unpaid leave, May 12th through the 19th for your approval.
Make a motion to approve that leave of absence.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
I have changes of status, transfers, and promotions. First, I have 2 motions. The first to be approved, to approve the request of Phyllis Holtree from the Community Action Partnership to reclassify the current part-time data entry officer position to a full-time medical assistance transportation officer at a grade 7 on the non-union chart, 37.5 hours per week, effective June 5th. This position is fully funded through the Medical Assistance Transportation Program.
So moved.
I recall some discussion about a concern that we might have if that funding would stop, and that we were going to indicate that this position was being approved unless there was significant changing in the funding of that position.
Right.
Can I include that as part of the motion?
Sure, let's sort of add the motion to include that.
Subject to funding.
Subject to
Yeah,
funding?
exactly.
You okay with that? All right. And then I'll second the motion as amended.
Okay, any questions regarding or any clarification with the amended motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Second would be to approve the request of Barbara Smith, Prothonotary Clerk of Courts, to add interpreter duties and pay to one of the current general clerk's C positions within the Clerk of Courts office at the rate of $1,500 annually or $57.69 bi-weekly effective June 5th.
I make a motion to approve the addition of an interpreter in the Prothonotary Clerk of Courts office.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we have those additional responsibilities. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Okay, next, changes of status. Dana Gingrich going in the Community Action Partnership Department, going from a part-time data entry officer to a full-time MA Medical Assistance Transportation Officer at $972.44 bi-weekly effective June 5th. And Jennifer Vasquez in the Clerk of Courts, going from a General Clerk C to a General Clerk C with interpreter duties, adding $57.69 bi-weekly to the rate of $900.82 bi-weekly, effective June 5th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve those changes. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
And other transactions to hire at Renova Center Susan Yoakum as a casual call developmental assistant, grade 3, step 1, $11.56 per hour, effective June 5th. Also at Renova, Brandy Urban to hire as a full-time medical secretary C, grade 6, step 1, $827.73 bi-weekly, effective June 12th. And in the sheriff's office to hire Peter Conway as a casual part-time deputy sheriff at $15.19 per hour, effective June 5th.
Make a motion to approve the hirings as presented.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
And for salary board then, motion to approve all the transactions previously read plus the following, and these are all incremental increases at the prison for Thomas Fulmer, full-time correctional officer, going to $14.47 per hour effective May 21st. Jason F. Kane, also full-time correctional officer, $14.47 an hour effective 5/21. Amber Schwartz, full-time correctional officer, going to $14.20 an hour effective June 4th. And Antonio Cotto, full-time correctional officer, going to $14.20 an hour effective June 18th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those changes. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Renata Zumber, Human Resources, I'll be doing the seminar at the place.
Very good. Start with the mandated.
Already mandated. Jim Holtree, Karen Alonso, and Liz Getch from Children and Youth would like to attend the PCYA quarterly meeting in Harrisburg on June 29th. Registration fee of $150, requesting reimbursement for mileage, mandated by DHS. David Arnold and Nicole Eisenhardt from the District Attorney's Office would like to attend the 2017 annual summer meeting in Bedford from July 9th through July 13th. Registration fee total $1,650, requesting reimbursement for lodging, meals, parking, and tolls, 6 credits, mandated by the PACLE order. Samantha Chesney and Emily Child from Probation Services would like to attend Spanish for Uniform Patrol and Drug Interdiction in Annville, July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Requesting reimbursement for meals, 24 credits total, mandated by PBPP. Laura Rupert from the Public Defender's Office would like to attend Bridge the Gap in New York.
We just be ratifying that one. Because of the date.
No, you still, just take it.
Okay.
May 31st is the date. Registration fee, $125. Requesting reimbursement for the mileage, parking, and tolls. 4 credits, mandated by PA Supreme Court. Laura Rupert and Elliot Katz from the Public Defender's Office would like to attend the 34th Annual Criminal Law Symposium in Harrisburg, June 8th and 9th. Registration fee total of $550. Requesting reimbursement for mileage, parking, and tolls for 12 credits, and this is mandated by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those mandated conference requests. Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
The following conferences and seminars are not mandated or requested. Jocelyn Grassley from NHIDEI would like to attend Connecting Housing, Jobs, and Transportation in Middletown on June 13th, and they are requesting reimbursement for mileage.
Make a motion to approve the requested conference.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
And also requested Christopher Duran from the Sheriff's Office would like to attend the Patrol Rifle Instructor in State College, July 10th through July 15th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the request from the Sheriff's Office. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you. Well done. And Jamie, well done. Thanks.
Okay, then,
Carol,
Davies.
good morning.
Morning, Carol.
Just introduce yourself. You may proceed, Carol.
Good morning, I'm Carol Davies. I'm the administrator of the Area Agency on Aging. And this morning I would like to present 13 contract amendments for review and approval by the commissioners. These are contract amendments that occurred during the course of the fiscal year. They affect the current 16-17 fiscal year, which ends on June 30th. There are 13 different contracts with changes. The total costs increased by $39,059, and we are not requiring any or requesting any additional county support.
Was that $13,059?
I'm sorry, $39,059. 13 amendments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll seek a motion.
Make a motion to approve the amendments as presented by Area Agency on Aging.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve those contract amendments. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. So convincing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're out.
Oh,
no, it will be 30 seconds. 30 people, did you say? No.
I'm gonna say we have contenders for the best dressed award today. Or?
We didn't even.
Very nice.
We didn't even talk beforehand.
That's very nice. Okay. Well, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your colleagues, then we can proceed.
Sure. My name is Brian Smith. I'm the Executive Director and Chief Operations with First Aid and Safety Patrol, and also the First Vice President of the Lebanon County Ambulance Association.
I'm Jim Riddle, Lebanon County Ambulance Association's treasurer.
We all know Bob Dowd from the Director.
Bob Dowd, EMA Director.
Thank you. Okay, Brian, you may proceed.
Well, we last week was EMS week for across the country, and we had a bunch of activities that were we're planning throughout the week with some cookouts, some different services to recognize staff members for their accomplishments over the last year. And it was just an opportunity for us to really focus on what EMS is about. So, you know, give you a couple of things that are going on in EMS in the county. I'll talk quickly just from my organization standpoint with First Aid and Safe Patrol. Last year we had the busiest year we've ever had. Did about 28,000 responses last year, and continue to provide services throughout most of the county. And it's actually been this time every year for the last 4 years I've had an opportunity to recognize our staff for achieving the American Heart Association Mission Lifeline recognition. And 4 years ago we were awarded the bronze level, the next year the silver level, last year the gold, and I'm happy to announce this year we got the Gold Plus award, and that's a measure that measures for cardiac patients that are having a ST elevation myocardial infarction in the field, and our system of care that provides them quick access to a cardiac cath lab and then being able to get the treatment that they need. This year's Plus measure was an additional measure that measured from our first contact until the 12 EKG was acquired by our folks in the field. We averaged 5 minutes. The expectation is 10 from Mission Lifeline, so that was a great recognition for our team. On the Ambulance Association side, I think our biggest thing that we have we've been doing is we started an EMT program within Lebanon County through the Ambulance Association about 2.5 years ago, and really it came out of necessity. We were not producing EMTs in Lebanon County, and we knew there were folks that wanted to be trained and wanted to participate, and saw a desire to do something about that, particularly from Jim's from the Myerstown area. Our volunteer agencies need volunteers, our paid agencies need employees, so we took it and said we're gonna fix this. So we are, August will start the 3rd class for Lebanon County. We already have 18 individuals registered. The prior 2 years we did 21 EMTs, and the first class we did 19 last year. We continue to work with the school districts. We're excited about some partnerships with the school districts. We're growing the number of EMTs that are coming out of high schools. We have potential next year to be graduating close to 60 EMTs in our community. And that's huge for us. And we would look at it as if they don't even go on to become a member of an ambulance service, they're more educated individuals out in the community. Another point of emphasis for us has been the CPR education component, getting out there and getting individuals trained in CPR. It's the first link of chain of survival is recognition and doing even hands-only CPR. And we're seeing some fruits of the labor with that. So, it's exciting times. It's still scary times at EMS. There continues to be some legislation out there to increase medical assistance reimbursement, also looking at some other things with treatment and transport when we go and take care of somebody but they don't go to the hospital to get reimbursement. As you know, we're pretty much predominantly nonprofits in the community. It's important for us to stay doing what we're doing and be fiscally responsible. So lots of exciting things going on.
We're very grateful for the work you do. It's always anyone that's associated with this area in our county is aware of the quality of the service and the personnel that you bring to and the structure and the professional interaction with our EMA. Much appreciated, Brian, and so thank you very much for all you do in that regard.
Thank you.
Anything else? Proclamation. Oh, we have a proclamation? I probably covered everything right. Go ahead.
All right, whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service, whereas the members of emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical service providers. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Lebanon County, hereby proclaim the week of May 21st to the 27th was celebrated as Emergency Medical Services Week within the County of Lebanon.
Make a motion to adopt the proclamation as read.
Second.
A motion for a second. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. You have hereby adopted your proclamation. We've presented to you.
I know it's an iPhone. It still works.
Bob, you want to get in? I'll take a photo. Or?
That's okay.
Got it.
Not doing anything in?
I can take the vote.
We like versatility.
That's chair, is it?
Very good.
My turn.
Nope.
My turn as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Congratulations.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just was. Thank you. Thank you.
I know.
Week after Friday, last Thursday,
It was cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
All right.
Jamie, you ready for?
Yeah.
Big guns are coming last.
Yeah, we have plenty of room up front.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good morning, Warren.
Thank you.
Hello.
I don't know how you want to start, but if you like by introductions of your team there.
Yes, if I will. Thank you very much. Thank you for making time for us today. Again, I'm Pat Sam from Honeywell. I have with me this morning Bob Breslin. Bob is assigned to Lebanon County. He's not new to Honeywell. He's somewhat new to Lebanon, but he's been here for the last 8 months intimately as we're moving forward, looking. You asked us about 8 months ago to look at your lighting and additional ways to save and things we can do with our Phase 2 performance contract to enhance for the county, and Bob's been up to his eyebrows in the project since then. He will be the project manager assigned to the project. And Neil Bansel's here with me, and Neil is one of our performance contracting engineers, and Neil has been in Lebanon before. He was involved in the Phase 2 project. And as I said, I'm Pat Sam, and I've been here for quite a while, 20 plus years. Like I said, when I had jet black hair, started coming here, those days are gone. So thank you very much for letting us come in front of you again today. What I'd like to do is just give you a quick overview of what we have done. If you recall, we've had a very successful Phase 2 performance contract. It's called it. Performance contracting is a method of procurement in the state where you use energy savings, operational savings, or avoiding capital savings individually or collectively to generate savings to pay for the improvements that you do at your facilities. And we have had a very successful first phase here. Second phase, the second phase, I believe it's in excess of over $230,000 of savings is generated so far to the commissioners. And when I say in excess, that means it's the cost, the cost of the program is guaranteed by the savings. If the savings you miss, Honeywell, as the ESCO energy saving company of your choice, will cut you a check for the difference to make you whole. So in essence, it's a low-risk solution for problems that you may have. So the phase 2 project, like I said, the savings are in excess of $200,000. It's been very successful. And if you recall, excuse me, if you recall at that time when we were doing the review with you, I think I was here with Sergio, you asked us to investigate the snowway, so that's what we are here doing today. I have packets I'd like to put in front of you for consideration. Our objective today is to gain your approval to move forward with this. Like I said, we've worked with Jamie, Mr. Firestone, Mr. Klein, and JJ down at the prison for 8 months looking at systems. We've come back on numerous occasions, and what we have done is revised. We've taken some ideas and we've thrown them overboard. We've taken some, we looked at windows again, we looked at wind and solar.
Address those at the appropriate time.
Pardon me?
I would like to address that at the
Absolutely,
appropriate time.
absolutely. So we have what we believe is a successful program for you right now. It addresses all of the needs, capital projects Jamie wanted to have done, equipment. I will say this, working with your team that are behind us, and I'm thrilled they came to be with us again today, you have excellent employees here, excellent employees. And sometimes I believe that probably they should get a medal for what they do. It might be unrecognized, but you have some equipment that's hanging on by a thread and others that literally does not owe you a dime. We've used that term in our meetings, it doesn't owe you a dime. It's due to be replaced, and that's what we put into this program, and they've done a terrific job keeping it running for you. What we've looked at is replacing equipment that's at the end of its useful life. We found some equipment that does not meet code anymore, so by code requirements, it has to be changed out, so we're upgrading to the code. We've taken all that engineering into consideration here with us in our surveys. Some immediate needs that you need, upgrading your lighting all to LED to generate savings for you, get you green in that regard. And we have a real good program. What we have is, I believe, 7 energy conservation measures we're looking at, and I want to show you them right now. We look at.
They each have a packet, but
yes,
unless those are different from last week.
They are.
Okay.
What actually happened is the savings increased. As we did our final reviews, the savings increased, so it worked out pretty good on your behalf. What I'd like to give you here, and JJ will probably smile when I hold these up. He has so many of these white folders from our meetings, he started giving them back to me, which is a very nice thing to do, so thank you very much. Inside each one of these, we have, I have a pro forma sheet with a cash flow model for you, with the cost and savings, and I have an overview sheet of the energy conservation measures. Do you just want to see them again?
This will have the same 2 things that your packet, your other packet has, just nothing.
Steve, you good?
Actually, more than 2, I've seen.
And I have a brief overlay of every energy conservation measure, what it would cost, and a schedule of events. The schedule is in there because, as I said, some of your equipment literally is hanging on by a thread. What we have discussed is if it fails, you're in some trouble, especially down the prison. You're going to have to move things out of the way, you're going to have to bring things in, you're going to have to, it'll be a nightmare for JJ. So what we have here is, if you look at the first sheet in there, I have the phase 3 project, quick overview of the energy conservation measures. And Bob and Neil, any questions you may have, feel free, and we'll respond on that. It's in greater detail than the contract documents, obviously, like we've done before in the attachment A. This is just a high level, 40,000 foot level. But for energy conservation 1, all 6 facilities converting over to LED lights inside and out. I have what's called the lighting audit. I have a lighting audit that's about that thick for every device and every item. I didn't include that in here, but that's included in the documents. We also investigated replacing the air handling units and the chiller over at the probation unit. That's ECM number 2. To get into detail on ECM number 3, the rooftop units at the Correctional Institute. The big attraction there is we're going from units mounted inside the facility, which causes a lot of pain to JJ and his crew, and more times where they need to be repaired or replaced or just preventative maintenance done on them. We're going to take those units and put them up on the roof. So now there will be no inconvenience inside the prison, moving prisoners around, securing areas and such. That'll be able to take care of on the roof. We're investing in cooling tower fans, making them more efficient. Replacing high-efficiency transformers here at the municipal building. Doing upgrades here in the probation building on the building management system, and replacing the variable air volume boxes and such. And then again, at the prison, at their request, we looked at water conservation, and it will also give them more control over the water. We did water control on there in phase 2. This is taking it a step further, so it's going to allow them to control the the inmate population a little better and generate savings too. Okay? That's just a quick overview.
If you don't mind me just injecting a few things there.
Yes.
You had mentioned some of our current equipment that we were contending with. So ECM 2, replacing probation air handling and chiller. ECM 3, which is air handling and rooftop units at the prison, and ECM 6. Those three are the items that if we didn't face them in a project like this, we'll be inevitably facing it. I mean, as you are well aware, probation's building is sort of on intensive care by one of our local HVAC contractors. Has been very good to us, but sometimes, you know, in the middle of the night, that needs attention. Sometimes they come into work and it's either, you know, 80 degrees or 50 degrees or other extremes in there, because that system is just original to the building from, I think, the earlier mid-'80s. Fortunately, parts are still available, but it's run its course. So that is something that we would be replacing one way or the other, whether it be through this or through the general fund budget. And the same is true, the prison, JJ's got chilling units down there that go back how many years, 30 years?
Yeah.
And as Pat pointed out, you know, these are sometimes operation, not only their condition, but operationally to access them means security concerns. And, you know, you have to bring tools into the facility, which you try to avoid as much as you can for security reasons, so to access these from the roof is a lot better. So I pointed out to you in an email before, these are items that, while the lighting is by far the pun intended, but outshines everything else in savings. Is that good?
How long did you work on it?
Just thought of it. Just thought of it. You know, that's where the biggest savings comes in and the fastest payback. These other items have a payback, but it's longer. The lighting helps to kind of, you know, lift them, carry them along.
And that's the beauty of these programs. You blend them all together. They dovetail together, use some of the operational savings or the avoided capital savings to make the program work.
So I just wanted to point out, those are budgetary items, one way or the other.
All right. Thank you, Peter. As an extension of that, in with the pro forma, I have this sheet which gives you the cost for each one of the energy conservation measures you're looking at. And the total program up is $2,483,000, and it shows on the right the buildings that will be affected by that work. And then if you take that and expand it into your financial spreadsheet, the spreadsheet here illustrates, and we're using this at a 3.7% rate. You'll see up top that it's not this smart graph, because I knew that rate would change. Jamie told me this morning it looks like you're 3.4, give or take.
Yeah, if we did a bond issue, it might be around 3.4%, but that has other costs
associated with it,
and also in considering a bank loan, which we've done for other things, you can't get a fixed bank loan for 20 years.
Right.
Most of the bank will give us a 7-year fixed, and then it goes to variable, whereas a lease or a bond issue are both fixed. You know what it's going to be. So one of those two options would be the best route.
Which is actually good news. As I said, we did 3.7, so you can see, if anything, the numbers will be better than these. If we're considering all of the numbers will be better than these, so forth. And given this example, at 3.7 of that cost for the 7 ECMs, you're generating on top of your fees and everything else you have to do, we're seeing almost $19,000 a year in positive savings on top. If you extrapolate that out over the 20 years of the program, you're almost $400,000 in savings. And again, if the rates come in a little different, that'll increase, that'll be a little better too. So it's a good, solid program. We hope that you find the same and you approve it today, and we can get moving. I have included to that, I've also included in here for you, and these are in all the documents, but these are just copies of, this is the installation schedule. This would be on Bob here, but this is what he has in as far as the installation schedule. The idea is he's ready to mobilize right now. We're already in the queue for ordering the LED light. We're in the queue for the mechanical equipment from the suppliers, and that's huge, because otherwise then you fall way back and you have to just wait for these. And as we said, some of the units, I know the prison, we could use right now. So it works out really good. So the timing is real, and the timing will sell, and you're comfortable with the schedule. If anything, we'll beat this.
Yeah, the main objective is, there's 2 components to this schedule, and what we're dealing with is to achieve items which have been repaired. So to minimize any more cost on the county side, is get those in ASAP. And then also trying to take advantage of the lighting to get that installed quickly to have the county start realizing the savings coming from there. Because I think, you know, understanding the past programs and even on this one, any savings that are generated during the construction period is all savings to the county side. That, the guarantee doesn't start until the project is completed.
Project's completed, you accept it. And in the same note, we have not included any rebates in this program at all. Any rebates we get will stay with the county 100%. Give you an example, we just had 2 check presentations of other customers in the last 2 months. One was 32,000 and the other 35,000 of rebates. So that depends on the function of what the rebates are available at that time. That's why I don't like to put them in. It's better to find out exactly what it is. Could be better, could be worse. But whatever it is, it's all yours. We don't touch that at all. Okay. Is that a good feel on the lighting rebates from them?
I think lighting is about, I want to say around 12, 13,000.
Yeah,
Because
we thought
we are
about
not doing that much lighting compared
Right.
to the example that we gave.
Right.
So we have about 11,000 calculated right now.
And there may be other rebates available by the time we're done. The state's always changing too, so there's going to be some other grants or rebates available, certainly for them on the.
So the the difference from last projections to this is just the interest rate?
Yes, everything else stays solid. Yep. And that's good, that's the way we hope that we go. We had it figured, when we were meeting together, we had it figured that the project would still self-fund if you even went up to, I think it was 4.4%. And we had originally figured about 3%, but that's a little, that might not be a good one, so that's why we moved it up a little bit. So we're right on target with it.
Would you talk a little bit about measurement and verification on the chart? It's M&V.
Yep.
What you know that as is the visits that you get to verify essentially that what was promised in the agreement is taking place. And excuse me, and the trend, or I guess what you typically see in your contracts, is that that is done for the first few years.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly a customer can do it for the duration of it,
right.
Which is what we're currently doing in our phase 2.
Right.
So you want to just talk a little bit about
Yeah, Jamie's absolutely correct. Some ESCOs require you to maintain the M&V course and measurement verification for the full term of the contract, 15 or 20 years, whatever the case may be. Honeywell doesn't, it's always your call. And what we're finding now is exactly what Jamie said. I have customers first year, if you demonstrate savings, they say, you know what, we don't want the measurement verification anymore because it's logical to assume this will continue. And generally what we're seeing is about 3 years. After 3 years, and it's always your option. And the reason of that is, by law, it's required that measurement and verification be a totally separate agreement. That has to stand separate from the performance contract itself. So you're at now, I think you're probably a little under 10 grand, 90 something, 900, something like that.
phase 2.
For the phase 2, and Jamie can cancel that next quarter, whatever you'd like to do. This number is actually less. This one's 8,200 for it. And what we did is we just ran it for 3 years. So you'll see in that illustration, it's in the program for 3 years. It still self-funds with it, whether it's in or out, or it's still working. That's always your call. But that's what we're seeing now as a trend in the market. You just take that and you do other things with that.
We've actually been doing it for 6 years in the phase 2 program that began in 2011. So that is something I want to talk about at budget time to see if that's something we continue to do, because that's not, that's actually something we're paying for as we go.
It's a good thing to have, it just might not be necessary at this point in time. And that's your call. Like I said, I have customers that keep it for all 20 years. They want to have it, they want to see that report. It's fine.
Yes. Patrick, first of all, I'd like to compliment everyone, staff, yours and ours, for the fine job that you've done putting this presentation together. That being said, I have repeatedly suggested looking at windows, and I was disappointed to find out that they were not considered again this time, so I did some research on my own. And quite frankly, we have a world-class manufacturer right here in the city of Lebanon and Lebanon County. They are window specialists, and they are located at 127 North 8th Street. They would enhance our environmental responsibility by doing the right thing. I look every morning when I come in and I see Commissioner Phillips' window is failing. And I don't know how he puts up with it, he doesn't seem to mind, but I just know that that can be representative of what is going to happen if it hasn't already throughout our entire building. So, one, not only can we save energy, but aesthetically pleasing for the building itself. Safety is improved because as windows fail, if they shatter or whatever, there's safety. There's comfort for the occupants because they're not getting drafts or the heat is kept outside. And it also can mitigate sound. So there are many advantages to new windows. When you buy a house, it's the first thing they tell you to do. So I kept asking myself, why or what are we missing? So I was able to find out that locally, this firm I mentioned is owned by a disabled veteran. It's a small business owned by a disabled veteran. That appeals to me. And not only that, they have installed windows and manufactured them for the World Trade Center and for the United States House of Representatives. And in that instance, the payback was 3 years. So if you invest $1 million and get that money back in 3 years, I don't know where we're going to do any better when it comes to investments. And we're doing it the right thing for the environment. I ask you to seriously look at this and consider before we pass this or make it contingent upon you verifying this information and working with this potential local business, that we could do something good for all of us, for all the citizens of this county. And I just respectfully request that you look at that. I will give you the information.
Glad you would, Bob, you captured it too. Yeah, absolutely, Commissioner, thank you. We did look at windows
And here's
previous
for our
than this.
purchasing agent.
We would be happy to, for all of the, and we have done windows in other projects, and all of what you said is correct, Commissioner. And probably one of the biggest one is sound attenuation. You find out the buildings are a lot quieter, and that's what you see. As far as setting this company up as a supplier, we can certainly look into that. And hey, I have 3 sons in the military. I support you on your regard there too. So thank you very much. I would say we certainly can do it, and we will. And I respect your request.
They did say that some of them are 7-year paybacks. There's different grades.
Some are longer than that too. It depends. It depends on the installation. It depends on the quality of the window. There's a lot of variables.
But they said 3 to 7 years is what their windows tend to pay back.
Could we make a representation where we would certainly look at them, and I'm not speaking for you, Bob, but still move forward? We could do that as an addendum too, because my fear is if we delay with the equipment and knowing what we need with that and in the queue for ordering, it's your call. We're fine, whatever you want to do.
As long as, I really feel strongly about investigating this. I have brought it up repeatedly, and so that's why I went to this extent today.
And I appreciate that. Can we do that, Bob? Am I anything out of term?
If I can just add, no issue reviewing the windows. We've reviewed it, and I think they were reviewed also on phase 2 with documentation that I saw.
Not with this work.
Right. What we would do is, we have a bidding process also internally where it's not just carte blanche.
I understand.
So what we would do is give this individual preference, along with other ones. We would make sure everything is apples to apples, that we have the right product as well. But I think what we would take a look at is we can bring that back to the table with, if we add windows, it's X, here's what the investment is and what we project the payback and savings would be. I think what that would in turn come back to is on the county side with a decision is going to be what expenditures can you do with a project. I know on our team what we looked at was what are items, what have paybacks, and what have needs. So the items that we have is lighting we know has a quick investment with a quick return. What we then took a look at is on the mechanical side is what our needs and not just what we want. So on the mechanical side, if we didn't do a project, as Jamie explained, we'd be moving forward with, the county would be moving forward with a capital expenditure project to do something ASAP, whether it's at the probation or at the prison facility. What we also noticed then at the prison facility, talking with the warden, is where we start making sure we took a look at some of the older equipment. There's some things that he has with regulations and some phone calls with different elements that we incorporate that into, because they're potential items down the road as well. So when you look at the spectrum, I would say it's the mechanical things which are gonna fail, could fail at any moment, would have a different tier rating than the windows, so I'm not saying that the windows don't
The
have a
windows are
priority.
as old as this building.
Correct.
And they are failing.
So what we need to take a look at is, if the county has a certain investment that can do cost-wise, to take a project from here to here, or where it's that bubble line, if we can incorporate that, I'm sure, we would review that with Jamie and with the commissioners, so I don't see that as any issue, it's just, where does it fall on? There's never an open checkbook, so we just need to know how we afford to do that. And I think what Pat's indicating is, we can do that, it could be, we can do that as a revision, a change to the other piece, is to keep things moving, at least to get the equipment started. At least 2 buildings on the mechanical side is a key.
These are always considered, as us with our phase 1, 2, and 3, these are always considered a living document, so any amendments can be made. Commissioner, I want to thank you for taking your time to do that. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, Patrick.
And we'll give it
You've always
serious
been
consideration it deserves.
wonderful at those audits you talked about,
Thank you.
when we discovered that we had failing, I
Yep.
think it was boiler,
Yeah.
either at the prison or Cedar Haven.
Cedar Haven.
You took care of it. I really do respect everything you do. This is just one piece that I feel strongly we
I know,
oversee.
it cuts both ways, so thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
So absolutely, we will do that for you. The other thing I wanted to say, oh, I'm sorry, go Commissioner.
No, well, as related to that, it's my understanding that as part of this study, you did look at the window possibilities.
We did.
Not this time.
Not with this vendor, not with this vendor.
No.
Yeah, this time.
Yeah, we gave it a cursory look, we did give it a cursory
You
look.
looked at the old,
And because last time we looked at this building in Cedar Haven, so we just had this building this time, looked at it again.
Last time we looked at it, it was 1.1 million.
1.1 and the savings were not that
Savings
much.
Like 3,000 a year.
Yeah, something, wasn't much. Now, there's been changes in technology, and as we have done with this last investigation, but I want to talk to this person, I want to see where we're at here, I really do.
I appreciate
See what
that.
they are. I know you do, that's what we're doing. But we did look at it, yes, we did.
In the
We can
case,
look at it again. Even, like I said, the living document, that doesn't even mean a year from now, we're not here with some other new technology change that's generating all these remarkable savings, and away we go, and we're amending it that way.
And
In
I-
prison, we're going from electric to gas, we're taking electric units out, replacing with gas is so expensive.
And I think it's important to support our local businesses and, it's Small Business Week
And we're doing that as part of this, there was vendors that the county was working with that we've incorporated into this program, we're doing that as part of this, that's what's huge. The other thing I wanted to say too, before I forgot, was the guarantee, when we were talking about M&D, this guarantee stands on its own for this project. The excess savings from the previous, they're yours, we're not incorporating any of them into them or overlapping them on top of this. This stands totally on its own, there's this project, they're self-serving. Okay?
Seek a motion.
No, I do have one more question, Chairman.
Want to get a motion first?
We can do that, sure. I'll make a motion that we approve the presentation of updates, energy updates as presented by Honeywell.
and to look into the windows.
I really thought they've already said they don't do that.
Well, but I think that should be part of our motion, so they have authority.
We already did look at the windows, this is another look at the windows.
Yes.
Yes, but, okay, well,
That's fine,
Thank you.
look at the windows.
I'll second the motion.
any questions or comments?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yes, William.
And I should know the answer to this, so I apologize, but how do we interface with the city on this project?
they're not part of this lighting.
Okay.
I guess I just have to let Pat speak to that. We
tried.
built phase 2, let me back up some history. Phase 2, the city was not part of. I think after the fact, there was a little bit of questioning on the city, like, hey, we wish we would have been a part of it. I think there was some attempt at that time from Pat to reach out to the city, but to no avail. So this time, when we started 8 months ago, I said to Pat, make sure you get in touch with the city and make an invitation and be a part of it, which he did.
And here we are. Okay, and as a follow, and I understand.
As a
because
courtesy, we try.
they
can certainly, as part of an amendment, we can certainly try that again, maybe if we
Well, I
want to come back.
know they have other intentions, but I also want to be clear that the costs then are separated clearly so that we're not making, you know, a real move here to save energy and part of their energy expenses are built into ours or whatever.
Well, they are.
They're-
And I'm not
well,
sure.
That's a concern.
I mean, you know, what we do with the city is 77-23.
That's what I thought.
So, you know, utility bills, Steve, jump in, or Dennis, if I'm incorrect here, but the energy bills are split by that. So if we put LED lighting in on our side, the savings is calculated to pay for that lighting, you know, the first several years, based on the savings of electricity that, in our electricity bill.
Yeah, which we're saving for that.
Yes. So that, you know, 23% of that electricity bill is also the city's. I'm not sure how you could calculate 23% of what the old bill was, you know, when the lights are all interconnected throughout the building. So I believe inevitably, you know, them being part of the building does generate some savings that would just be very difficult for us to try to calculate because it's only one electric bill coming into the building.
And yeah, I think the only way you can do it is, we have the lighting component for this building, what it's guaranteed to save. You could probably take your costs, take your percentage, and have that number as something that you would agree to.
If you feel there's a way you can attempt to formulate that.
It's documented, it's documented as to what this project would save. So I think what you would do is, you would take your bill, assume that it,
You
I'm
don't
just
mean
thinking
this
out
bill,
loud.
do you?
No. You would take your statement. You would take your
Can't let
statement.
Jamie have the only joke of the day.
And you would probably increase it, what the guarantee amount would be. So let's say you had a statement of $10,000 and we knew there was a $3,000 savings. You would probably take 10 plus 3, which would be 13. Then do your 20% split. That way it's not split on the new statement. It would always have an addition of X dollars.
I have faith that you can do that.
Yeah, definitely. That's not a problem.
You do too, Bob.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to convince them that they can buy it. That's a problem.
So if you worked with the guaranteed savings amount, that would be the number that you could work with.
So, I mean, but certainly Pat can
easiest
make another
solution would be if we did the whole
attempt
thing.
to see
Yeah.
if they would be part of it, at least in the lighting. You know,
Yeah.
that would really be the only, well, the lighting, the transformers, and the air handlers.
So all of their water conservation didn't take place either when we did all that in these phase 2? The toilets and
On
things?
that side?
Yeah.
We didn't, I don't think we did much here in terms of water. did
Well,
we?
we did the flows.
That was the
Well,
biggest savings we had.
Well, the
last-
biggest part of that was
Prison.
at Cedar Haven.
And then the prison, I mean, the flush valves and things, prison were big savings too. Okay. So if we, if there's a way to create a formula and parcel that out, that would be great.
It would be great to approach them again, just so we're entering into this. And might want to get on board. Hey, John, question?
My first question is, did you take that proposal to the mayor, or did you take it to city council?
Neither. I took it to the front desk and gave my card and said I'm working with the county and I'd like to sit and talk.
With the mayor?
Yes.
And did you ever sit and talk? Never sit and talk, okay. And then refresh my memory, I think both our hair was darker when you started this.
It's another joke, that's 3.
Yeah. So when was phase 1?
Phase 1 was around 2003?
No.
No, before.
Oh, was it before that?
It was between 96 and 99, yeah.
Okay, so 99, 2011? Okay.
And then I know there's some work being done at the probation building, the status of that. Does this dovetail with this? Does it?
The Honeywell folks have, they've been aware of the internal remodeling and so on that goes on there, but I mean, you've got the drawings and everything, but I don't think it has much
No,
impact really.
it would not have an impact.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't catch your last name, I'm so sorry.
Bansal.
So,
B-A-N-S-A-L.
Okay. Any other questions? We have a motion on the floor. Yes,
Just so I can clarify, at this point, I think your action will, we don't have the agreements in front of us or anything at this point, so.
Yes, I do.
You are ready to go, you don't have the solicitor's opinion yet, though, ready
Get it, we're good to go.
Okay, all right, well then we'll, I didn't realize he was that far along, so. And our solicitor has everything that you provided, so. I would then maybe add that we, pending his approval, his review of things.
I'll be willing to add that to the.
Okay, we have an amendment and another provision, of a review. Okay. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you.
Should know.
And I also strongly encourage you to try to get the mayor's attention. Be nice. Be part of it.
And thank you guys for all your help and keeping an eye out for the taxpayer. Appreciate it.
They are great. Thank you for being here, too.
This just extends JJ's retirement.
Excuse me?
He's gonna stick around for the new stuff.
That's what he said he'd love to do. Yeah.
That's what I was told. Watch it one person.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Ed.
Did you write the truth? There's nothing compelling about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ginger, thank you.
Thanks, Jay. All right.
4-4, they'd have to take, part of this.
thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Pays itself back, but it's still. Why don't you stop down?
No, I understand that.
Take John home.
Yeah, I'll take it.
He buys him a barrel yet.
Do you have any other?
Nice
Of the package? No.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we'll make copies, no, it's fine.
Perfect, thank you.
We just memorize the meeting anyway.
Mr. Bonsall, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
No, I put the May 31st thing on the top, so I read. Okay, yeah, I'll be done in short.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Expressed interest in talking about
Let's do that.
the actuarial report from the retirement.
Do you have one of these for the press?
I can fill in stuff. Bob Medley, Lebanon County Controller. Just here to take a few minutes to talk about our 2017 actuarial valuation report for the Lebanon County Employee Retirement System, which covers the plan year ending 2016. Just some highlights to go over. As you know, the past few years, we've been working to try to build ourselves back up again. The funded ratio as of January 1st was 2017 is 85.3%, which is 2.5% higher than it was the prior year. And it also is the highest level we're at since January 1st of 2008, when we were 94%, excuse me. Our unfunded liability is $20,787,000, which is the lowest we were at since January 1st of 2009, which was just a shade over 19 million. In fact, from January 1st, 2013, as you know, when we embarked onto the plan, we were at almost 41.5 million unfunded liability. So in basically 4 years, we've dropped that from 41.4 to just a little under 21.2. Some of that is, I'll express why I think that's happened. And things in plan year 20, just to give you an example, in plan year 2016, we paid $10.2 million on benefits and refunds. With the ARC payment, employee contributions, and market gain in 2016, we had a net gain of $4.8 million to the fund. I believe that the market return, the sale of Cedar Haven, putting that money in, the commitment to paying the annual, now not annual required contribution, this actuarial required contribution. Now, yes, we changed that terminology. I believe that commitment has led to this, is making the fund in a much, I think, a much sounder basis. And I think moving forward, and as the market return and the commitment to funding the ARC, our actuarial required contribution for 2017 is $2,627,000, which is the lowest it's been since 2008. And in 2008, that was $1,500,000. So adding the money from Cedar Haven, continuing to make the ARC payments are resulting in lower annual required contributions. Of that $2.6 million, about $1.9 million is paying back the prior unfunded. Our annual actual, if we were 100% funded, our actual annual required contribution would be about $900,000 right now. Currently, as of the plan, as of January 1st, 2017, we have 697 retirees collecting benefits, 102 former employees that are eligible but have not reached the age where they can collect benefits, and we have 596 active plan members. So we're now with, after the Cedar Haven people transition, and a lot of them took retirement, we now have more retirees than we have employees contributing to the plan, which is even a better, which speaks even more to the return of the plan and the continued funding, because we have less people paying in. The 5-year average market return rate was 8.85%, which greatly exceeded our 7.5 assumption. And the 10-year return, which includes 2008, was about 5.8%, which in 2008 it was a 21% loss. So if you factor that out of it, we're probably over our assumption since 2008. We continue to move in a forward path, and I think it will sit well with the, I haven't heard from Standard & Poor's, but I would think it would sit well for them, seeing that we're continuing to move forward and dropping the unfunded liability and our percentage of funding is going up.
The only number you didn't mention, I mean, many numbers, but when we dropped below 70%, that was the lowest.
69.1, which
we've been building up from there ever since. So I think I agree, all the markers anyway that S&P looks at are going in the right direction. So, look forward to that review. Any questions? Observations? Yes?
When do you expect the next review by the S&P?
We're waiting. We're waiting for their word.
So it's imminent?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what happened is that when at their last review, which was when we refinanced the bond in August of 2016, they gave us a BBB+ with a positive outlook. They contacted us again about 2 months ago to do a review on their book, not because we requested it, because they did. Because anytime there is an outlook put on a rating, whether it be positive or or negative outlook, internally they must deal with that outlook one way or another within a year. So they were calling to say, let's take another look, we must deal with this positive outlook and either upgrade it or call it stable, as I understand it. So that was about a month ago. We had hoped for a word from them in a couple of weeks from then, but we didn't. And actually Jay Wenger, our financial advisor, sent them a reminder yesterday, just kind of inquired by email to say, where do we stand? So
Yeah, me too.
I'm optimistic, but we'll see. It'd be nice to get back in the A's again.
Yeah, sure.
No, I would just really like to say that I'm proud to have been a part of this process, and significant, certainly Bob, you've played a big role in this, and Jay Wenger helped us make the right decisions, and I think we had a series beginning 4 years ago to take the right steps to do this, and we set that as our goal, and we've accomplished it. It's not a finished process, but I think we can't do anything but be proud of what we've accomplished. So, very pleased.
All right. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that report.
No, your magnet on the side interferes with my magnet. That circle thing on the side.
That's not a magnet.
What is it?
That's a knob to adjust volume.
Oh, it looked like a magnet. Well, whatever it is, when it gets real close, I thought it was a magnet. When it gets close, it interferes with mine. I remember once you said mine interfered with yours, and I discovered yours interfered with mine, so I try and keep them at least a foot apart.
So noted. All right.
I have 3 items. I'll start first with the one that's on the agenda, that being the 2017 Loss Control Grant application for funds from Pennsylvania County Risk Pool, which we, as you know, we are a member. They are our general liability and property insurer, and as part of their program, they offer to each member county each year a loss prevention grant. And almost every member accesses those grants. I'm surprised that there are some counties that simply don't. I'm not sure why, but because it's literally free money back to make improvements that will reduce or eliminate some risks of loss or to prevent those losses, whether they be property or liability. So we're eligible for a $15,000 grant. That used to be a matching grant. It is no longer a matching grant. It's non-matching, so it's just simply $15,000 availability. And typically what we'll do, the safety committee, when we meet monthly, we will each month talk about any potential projects that could be funded through the grant and that would fit the requirements or the criteria of the grant. So we've done that over the last year, and I provided to you via email yesterday a copy of the grant application and the 5 things that we would like to address with this grant. And these are all coming as a recommendation from the safety committee, and it requires your approval before submission to P Corp. Briefly, and you'll recall when the sheriff was in several months ago and was talking about the potential for x-ray machines at the entrances. There was an Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts grant of $30,000 that was being provided toward the cost of about $41,000 for those. And your promise to the sheriff was that the rest of it will be covered one way or the other. So what I've been able to do was to leverage some of the funds that went unused from the 2016 grant that were intended at probation, but since probation is making some changes down there, it was a full approved blast request. That's not going to happen. It turned out to be a lot more expensive than anticipated. So P Corp's allowing us to transfer some of that money, about $4,600, and then another $2,367 from this grant would make up that difference toward those x-ray machines. So literally there's no general fund money that we need to go toward that between the state grant and the P-Port funds. As well, the sheriff has requested some dividers that are mobile dividers that could be used in the hallways to separate parties in court proceedings, or maybe separate the public from things if need be in an incident or something like that, just things that can be moved around the building. And then that would be a request for $2,593. Area Agency on Aging is relining their parking area at the senior center. That parking lot's a challenge because it's a sloped parking lot. It's a senior center, we have elderly. They're trying to navigate that in wet weather and icy weather and so on. So they're going to reline it and make a few changes just to try to make it a little more friendly to get around there. We did have a slip and fall over there at the south end of it. That's what I think prompted the discussion. We did get some fencing installed there to keep people upright if they happen to go and trip at that wall. And then MHID, if you're familiar, right along Lehman Street, all of the concrete pads have sunken down against the curb, and there's a lip there for 160 feet along Lehman Street. So we have an estimate of $3,890 to raise those pads rather than break them out and replace them all, which is much more expensive. We'll drill holes, pump hydraulic cement, lift them. We did that at Cedar Haven in the past. We've done it in the back of the building here in the past with some success at a fraction of the cost of replacing them. And also, we recently did a building safety inspection at the District Justice Building, the Donald J. Ryan Building, and found that there was some storage of records there that are on the top shelf, and those shelving units are not secured to the walls. And also, they were using some sort of maybe household type stools to access that, and it just wasn't a very good situation. And no one got hurt, fortunately, but it was identified. So we're asking to put $1,000 in there to do some securing of the shelves, buy some good heavy-duty ladders that they can use to access those. It's not frequent, but when they do. So, again, recommended from the Safety Committee, and would ask your approval to submit that to people.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve that list of improvements. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
By the way, next year's grant is $20,000, not much. So it's proven to be a very good program for P Corp, and they want to put money into loss prevention.
That's great.
Yeah. Next, I have two requests for liquid fuels aid. These would be fixed allocations. First being for North Cornwall Township, that wants to apply their allocation to their 2017 paving and patching project. The total cost of that project, $230,037, and their fixed allocation will be $7,553 for county liquid fuels. And also at Cornwall Borough, they want to just apply theirs to general maintenance of roads. Project costs $4,500. Allocation from the county would be $4,112.
Motion to approve those liquid fuel distributions.
Second.
Seconded. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Okay. Anything else for the good? See, we motion to adjourn. We are standing in adjournment. Thank you.